I've entitled tonight's talk about that baby. And I was telling one of my workers that I wanted to do a talk, and my talk was going to be entitled something about that baby. And she said, "What baby?" I said, "Lord, I'm talking about Jesus, that baby." And so it was kind of funny.
So that's your cousin,
so that's probably,
right? Cousin?
how it
And
represents how
your son or your cousin?
my notes. But I want to talk about this little girl that lived in Nazareth, and she was between 12 and 14 years old. Now, I don't know what you were doing between 12 and 14, but I'm sure I was planning a sleepover, and I'm sure I was still giving my Barbies a bath in my little pail bucket of water. I'm sure this is my main things that I was worried about. And this little girl from Nazareth named Mary, she was already hand-selected by God at 12 that she was going to be the one to carry Jesus. Now, I'm sure at 12, God was not looking down and going, "Oh, that Lisa." I'm sure he was like, "Well, let's be praying for Lisa." But at 12, she was already being chosen. She had already said that she was going to be a slave, that she was a slave for God. She was here on this earth at 12 years old. She already mentally had in her mind that she was going to live her life for Jesus. That was it. And also at 12 and 13, she had already declared that she had an eye for Joseph. Now I can imagine, let's see, if you're 12 years old, what's 12 minus 5? Somebody help me with that. She's in the 7th grade. See how I did that? You might want to take that.
7.
So she was in the 7th grade. So at 7th grade, remember where you were and thinking that there was a cute guy in school, right? And you're like, And you probably sent him a little letter, or maybe you're too old at 7th grade to send him the one that says check the box, yes or no. Will you go out with me? Will you be my girlfriend? Mary already had her letter to Joseph, and Joseph had already checked the box that I like you, okay? And this won't no random pick. When you're this age and you're a Jew, when you declare that you've checked that box, and that box means like I want to marry you, this is serious. We've done like moved from 7th grade to like college, okay? We already are like, I want to marry you. Spencer knows. You better check the box. And they've already checked the box. And over in that time, when you checked that box, this was a binding, lawful, legal commitment that you were going to marry this person. And this is kind of like your engagement portion of your life. Now, people get engaged all the time, then they get unengaged, kind of like you're dating and then you break up, and then you date back and date again. Okay, we all know about that, right? But this didn't go on back then. When you were engaged, that was a time period for the woman to show her like true faithfulness to the guy. It was time for the guy to plan the wedding. Hello, guys. Not sure what happened with the generational thing there. All of a sudden, it's the woman planning the wedding. But this was time for Joseph to plan the wedding. He needed this time. And he was going to be watching her, and her community was going to be watching her to make sure that she was faithful and strong, and she abided by everything that God said. Well, Joseph is around 18 to 20, okay, and I'm sure scholars can say one thing from one Bible about an age. I don't know. The literature I found, she's around 12 to 14, and he's between 18 and 20. All right. So if you know different, it's just one that I read. Now, you can imagine. First of all, you can't be spending the night. Can't have no sleepover with your fiance. Okay. Back in the day, it was just that you legally checked the box, and then that was it. All right. There was no spending the night over. Well, I don't know that this is the appropriate time to be discussing how babies are made, but I'm just saying there was no sleepover, and all of a sudden Mary gets a call from the angel Gabriel and says, "We're going to put a baby in your tummy, okay, and it is going to be from the Lord, and it is going to be the Lord's son." And she's like, "I'm not sure how that's going to happen because I know how you make babies, and I'm just engaged, and I'm not allowed to have sleepovers." And he said, "Don't you worry about it. I've got this," right? So it's 3 months when she figures out that she's already pregnant. She probably knew all along because, hello, angel Gabriel told her. But she's 3 months pregnant before Joseph finds out. Now, Joseph is a carpenter in town, all right? I can imagine he's pulling up into work with his little lunch pail, what he's going out for lunch. He's got on his work boots and, you know, his hammer and his hammer belt, and he's clocking in at the clock-in thing, and he's already got it figured out. He knows what he does. Can you imagine showing up at the work yard and everybody's whispering, I heard your woman, she done cheated on you. She done 3 months pregnant. Can you imagine, like, the speculation and just the disappointment that here I have declared that this is the woman I want to marry, and you know the rules. Everybody knows the rules. As a matter of fact, the rules were so strict that if you got pregnant and you were not already wedded, you would be stoned to death. Oh my gosh! Like, think of how much that's changed today. I mean, we got people in high school pregnant. But these people would literally be up at the front, tied to something, and they would throw stones until they actually killed you with the stones. So her being pregnant and not married was a death sentence. So here was Joseph. Now he's torn because we got the town's beginning to talk. Everybody's starting to be like, okay, she's got more than a baby bump going on, something going on. And she's got a registry already filled out at Babies R Us. And things are happening. So, like, I gotta confront this. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do about this. And so he has a lot that he's dealing with. Now, he loves this woman. He could have said, oh my gosh, how rude, you cheated on me, I'm done with you, bye. Okay, because that's what we know. But he didn't. He loved this girl. And he wanted her to be his. And so while he was off praying to the Lord, because they're both Christian people, he would pray and he was like, Lord, I think what I should probably do is just secretly and silently make her go away to another town, which meant I was going to get a secret divorce. We weren't going to go before the judge and let the mallet come down on it. We weren't going to go to that lady in town. What's that lady's name on TV that does the divorces? No, the lady who does the common marriage thing, and you can do it silently. She's got that 2-name thing, whatever her name is. She's got 3 names. Anyway, there's a lady in town that advertises she does quiet divorces without any trouble, and she makes them very, Anyway, we're not going to get into all that. But he had a choice to either humiliate her for what had happened and not understand that this was from God and that she cheated on him, or for him to accept the fact that maybe this was some strange, phenomenal thing that he would have to deal with. So he's praying, Lord, should I secretly, silently take her to another town and just silently divorce her and let's just call it quits, or what? And the angel came, he had a dream, and the angel spoke to Joseph and said, do not be afraid, I have done this. This child that I have put into Mary is mine. Please marry her and be with her. Okay? So he marries her before the baby's born. During the time, but they don't sleep in the same bedroom. Okay, she sleeps in the guest room and he sleeps in the master or whatever, or whatever's going on with that. And he doesn't touch her. He doesn't do anything affectionate to her while she's pregnant. All right? And if you want to know how miraculous this is, it takes an X and a Y chromosome to make a baby, and the guys have all the Ys. All right? And we have all the X's. So how could she have a boy if there was no father? That's a whole nother miracle within itself. All right? And some of you, that might be like, oh, whatever. But, I mean, really, that's like a miracle within itself. So all she could have possibly ever had by herself was a girl, right? Because she needed the Y chromosome. So, anyway, that's a little scientific deep. But she continues to be pregnant. She goes to her sister's house, Elizabeth, spends some time there. They do get married. And now King Herod is in charge, and he is insisting that everybody, just like we all pay taxes, right? Everybody pay taxes? Yep. Even if you don't know it, you gotta raise your hand. All right, pay taxes. Well, back in the day, they had to pay taxes too. And in order to pay taxes, they have to know how many people do they need to tax. So they send out the census. Remember the census forms that get mailed out? And you have to check out how many people live in the household? Same thing. Well, you got to account for everybody in this town. You got to come and register yourself and pay your taxes. And so they went went to their town, which was 90 miles away from where they were living, to pay their taxes. And, you okay?
Yeah, okay.
They went to pay their taxes. And while they were there, Mary says, uh-oh, water broke. Anybody know what that means? Baby's coming. Baby's coming right now. Okay? That woman done walked 9 miles walking. Okay, I don't even know how many days that takes. Never did that. I walked 3, and I'm like, got a cramp talk. I need some water. Okay, but she walked 90 miles with all their luggage, pregnant. Okay, 9 months pregnant. She gets there, and they're registering, paying the taxes, doing the census, being counted. And then she goes, uh-oh, water broke. And so then he starts calling. Anybody got, you got a room at the Holiday Inn? Nope. You got a room at the Ramada? Nope. You got one at, wherever? Nope. And they're like, we're about to have the baby, and I don't know what we're going to do. We've got a place to go lay down and have the baby. So they're walking around this sheep farm when they find this manger stable open, okay, that was made for something else, okay, for the animals to come and feed out of, a trough type manger thing. And they throw some hay from the ground into it, and she gives birth, and they lay the baby in the manger, all right? Want the fanciest thing, right? So they do this, and all of a sudden the brightest star comes over, and the men that are out in the field doing the sheep, they're like, what in the world? Look at that star. You see that star? Oh my gosh, something happened. And then one of them says, well, remember, they said when a star is born, the child has been born. You need to go and find this baby and witness the miracle that has happened. Now, these aren't the wise men. These are the shepherds that went to see him first. So they go and see him and witness it. Meanwhile, King Herod hears that people are starting to talk about the star has shined, right? The star is born. And so he sends his men, go find that king that was born, because I heard there's a king, then whenever he's born, he might take my place. Well, see, you got it all misconstrued. Jesus wasn't going to take his place at the big red chair, okay, sitting up there on stage. That wasn't the kind of king that was born. The king was the king over the universe. It's God's king, right? So Herod got confused, and he got jelly a little bit, and he's like, send my men, go find this baby, and tell them that I want to bring them some presents. Yeah. Tell them I want to bring some presents. I want to bless that baby. So the men go out, following the star, asking people, looking at Twitter, see what's happening, see if anybody's posted a location, on YouTube, whatever. And then he gets to the manger, and they all go, oh my gosh, this is the Son of God. This is exactly what was in the Old Testament. This has already been spoken of, that the person from David's line, that goes Abraham, Jacob, David, that whole line that had always been promised all the way from the Old Testament, that through David's line, a star would be born and a child would be born in this town. And sure enough, here's the child. It's finally come. And so then they go to sleep because it's too late to get an Uber. The Uber won't run it. So they decide to chill out, lay down. They wake up the next morning, and they had a dream. And they got together and they're like, do you have the same dream I got? The dream said, don't go back to work because the boss man, King Herod, he's probably told her a lie, and he probably wants to know where the child's location is so he can come and kill it. So they take a different route. They never even go back to work. Don't turn in 2-week notice, nothing. They just don't show up. All right, so King Herod, he's at home. He's chilling on this red chair, watching a little, I'm sure ESPN had something on. And he's waiting for them, and they never show up. And he got to thinking, where's my employees? Well, then he heard that they weren't going to come back. He said, that's it, I've had it. I'm sending out an order. I declare right now, any child age 2 and under, just go out and kill them all. Sure enough, we'll end up killing that new king that's going to take my place. So they go out and they start slaughtering all the children, all the little boys age 2 and under. Now, can you imagine being another parent, living your life? You just got off work at Marshall's. I mean, you come home, you got to get dinner ready. I mean, I gotta wrap up present. I got a lot to do. And somebody's come around looking for your baby boy to kill him? Can you believe it? So the night that they have the baby, Joseph and Mary, and they're laying there, and I remember, a lot of people think Joseph is Jesus' father. No. He was his earthly father, right? But he was not blood. That if you did a DNA test, Joseph would not show up. All right? Mary would, because Mary was from the line of David. And then there's some literature that say no, they both were from the line of David, but we're just going to roll with this version. All right. And so, let's see, where was I in that story? I just lost my train of thought. Anybody?
There's a baby that was...
Okay, so Joseph and Mary spend the night right there. She's just giving birth. She's exhausted, right? Ain't got no motion, no nothing. She's got to sleep on. So they wake up, and he has a dream in the middle of the night. Pick up this baby, and y'all need to go. Y'all need to go to Egypt because King Herod is looking for all those little boys, and he's going to kill them all, right? So they get up, and they go and hide in Egypt, and they hide there for years until Herod dies. All right? So when he's dead, they're able to come back, right? Well, they say that Jesus grew up with his dad and everything, and that later on, after Jesus was born, then Joseph and Mary got to sleep in the master bedroom, right? Okay, so now they're like husband and wife for real. They're going to sleep in the same room, right? And so then they go on to have some more children. They have 4 boys, and it's rumored they have 2 girls, but the girls' names are never mentioned in the Bible, but they do mention the guys' names. It's like Simon, Joseph, James, and Judah or something. All right, so they have all these children. So Jesus has really got brothers and sisters. All right, that is true, because this is the same mom, same baby mom, right? Well, Jesus grows up playing like any other kid, but he's real smart, real intelligent, right? And every time they start talking about preaching or there's a sermon going on, Jesus is right there. Okay, that's probably where I was when the Barbie got released, a new version. I was like right there. But he was right there listening to everything, and he always had the right answers. And the adults were always like, this little boy, he is smart. Somehow he's got like the godliest answer before we all do, and we're older than he is. And they say that he kind of picked up the tools like his father, and he was kind of like a carpenter, and he did those kind of things. And then one day, every year, on the same day, they'd all travel into town with a whole flock of, brothers, sisters, everybody, aunts, you got Elizabeth and Zachariah that was married to her. They're all like going into town to do the Passover meal, the Passover celebration. Well, you can imagine if you got a lot of children, you lose sight of Jesus, okay, that little boy always off doing something, and they accidentally leave and pack up and go back home, and they're all the way back home from their long journey, okay, when they go, anybody seen Jesus? Where's that boy?
No,
and I can see the mama right
They
now
call it Yahweh.
yelling outside the door, Jesus,
Yahweh.
Get your tail back here, I'm going to give you 10 minutes. Okay, the boy won't never show up. All right, I can imagine the roller coaster of Mary being upset and like, where in the world is he? What has happened? So after they look and they can't find him, they pack everybody up and they head back into town. Anybody seen Jesus? You seen Jesus? You seen Jesus? He's sitting over there in front of all the people talking about the Lord. And she walks up there and says, how dare you disgrace me like that? You knew you were supposed to stick with the flock, and we were on our way and we were going home. And he said, Mother, you knew I was going to be right here with my father talking. So he already knew from a young child's age, playing with a little hammer and his little toy set of knocking little wood pieces in there and growing up to the real nail, that he was the Lord's son. He knew he was special, and his mama knew he was special too. And I think after she saw that and Joseph saw that, they were shocked. And they shouldn't have been shocked because they were told, but I think it had really hit home to them that this is what it was going to be. And I can't imagine what it would be like to have been married and Joseph and not really, be traveling, and then you're not even in the right town. You couldn't even find a hotel, or they didn't have no place for you in labor and delivery to have the baby. There were no easy drugs to make this delivery possible. It was just, you were in a field and you found a trough and you dumped all the food out and threw the hay in there and threw the baby in there, wrapped them up with just rags sitting around. I just can't imagine that. And I found this poem. Ooh, I got 2 minutes. Okay, I found this poem. I have to put on my glasses, but the glasses are too strong, so I might get dizzy too, Jack. Okay, it says, who was Jesus? He was born in an obscure village, the son of a peasant woman. He worked as a carpenter then and became an itinerant preacher. He never held office. He never attended college. He never owned a home. He had no credentials but himself. His friends ran away. He was turned over to enemies and nailed to a cross between two thieves. While he was dying, his executioners gambled for his clothing. He was laid in a borrowed grave. 19 centuries have come and gone today, and he is the central figure of human race. All the armies that ever marched, all the navies that ever sailed, all the parliaments that ever sat, and all the kings that ever reigned have not affected the life of man on this earth as much as one solitary life. May his presence fill your heart with Christmas and throughout the year. Thanks be unto God for his unspeakable gift. I mean, that is beautiful.
Yeah.
I never thought about it like that. He never held office. He never had a home.
Okay, Jesus, he never.
So, anyway, I got to bring this to a close because we have to go to the church. But I had so much more I wanted to tell you. The story is absolutely beautiful, and there's so much to be learned about just what was going on in that time. And the fact that there were a lot of people that questioned and didn't even believe in God in the Old Testament. And I honestly believe that God, and some scholars will tell you this, they believe that God decided that he needed to come down in human form. And so he came down as himself, but in human form, put himself in Mary, she birthed him. He raised up to know what we were going through. He wanted to see our walk. He wanted to show us that we could do it. All these things. And so that's why a lot of times you'll hear Jesus is Christ, he's Lord, and you're like, hold on. I thought Lord was God and Christ is Jesus, and you get all confused. And so a lot of scholars will tell you it's the same person. It is God that said, I'm tired of dealing with everything that I deal with y'all through the whole Old Testament. So I will come down in person, human form. I will walk with you. I will show you the miracles. I'll be what it is that you're thirsty for, that you're starving for. I'll be that for you. But then I got to go, and then you've got to develop that faith. You've got to have that faith. All right, so bow your heads. Lord, thank you, and I hope that my message got across tonight. I had so much more to say, and I just hope that I even touched on what you wanted me to deliver tonight. Lord, sometimes it's so hard because you feel like the enemy keeps pulling up chairs at every table and I'm trying to deliver, but I hope that I touched everyone in the way that you wanted. Thank you for Christmas. Thank you for having Christ to forgive our sins. Thank you for everything, Lord. We're just so humble at everything you've done for us, and how can we just walk the way that you want us to walk to pay you back. Lord, we're about to go in and listen to Kevin and his team play music, and Lord, we just hope that you bless us. And we're right here at the holiday season, and we won't be back together until January, the second Thursday. But we hope that you'll be with everyone through our holiday and visiting family. So thank you, Lord, in your name. Amen.